Hello and welcome to the Hotkeys podcast. This is a show where we talk about everything pop culture and random in the world. My name is Mick, and with me as always are you people.
Landon Browning.
Will Dobratz.
Colby Chapman.
And David Parker.
Wow, a full roster.
What do you mean by you people?
You.
He meant you, Colby.
That's how it seemed, right? I felt singled out.
I think he meant
You
redheads.
definitely weren't. Yeah.
My hair is an...
I was staring at you.
Yeah, you were.
I wasn't.
He was.
Your hair almost looks normal this time of year.
What is that?
There's a fake ginger joke in there somewhere.
It almost
I'm not
looks
gonna
like
make it.
normal people hair.
My hair's not even like bright orange or anything. Like
It's like a dull orange.
it's auburn.
Right now it is.
Really?
It's like this all year round.
You know who else has auburn hair?
I don't know. Aubrey Hepburn.
Dumbledore.
Really? Does she have
I
auburn
don't even know who that is.
She
What?
does not have auburn hair.
brown hair, right?
It was like dark brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close.
She was in My Fair Lady,
Never seen
and there's a
Bunch
movie
of
in
old
Rome. She was in. She's in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I didn't
One of the
know.
most famous actresses of all time. Yeah.
She's an
I know the name, but like I didn't even know she was an
award-winning
actress. Like, I could have guessed that, but
Did you just say it because it sounded like Auburn?
yeah.
I don't. Did she win many awards? I thought she only won 2 Oscars.
That's like really
That's,
good.
yeah, that's what I said.
I thought there's some girl that has like 4 or 5.
That's Meryl Streep.
Yeah, it's Meryl Streep.
Some girl.
Some female, Will?
You're done.
Female. I replaced female with girl.
Will
That
like
better.
they had to make a separate award just so women could win.
Hey, no,
That's
Here,
literally what
I'm
Will
not
said.
sexist. I am not sexist.
Hey man, nobody.
Why do you
said
have to
that.
keep
don't
saying
have
it?
I am not
We
sexist.
believe you, bro. Yeah.
Each time you say it, I believe you a little bit more.
Oh, man.
Let's light this candle.
So speaking of Meryl Streep, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
This time I thought it was Meryl Street.
God dang it! Why would you say that?
Please start
What?
talking
What do
about
you mean?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
The girl Meryl Streep.
Road.
Anyway, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Abbey Road, take me home.
To the place.
So Across the Spider-Verse came out a couple weeks ago, and we've all seen it.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I was
Spoiler.
late. I was late to the draw.
Yeah, we'll just do spoiler talk. When did you see it?
Monday.
Dang!
Yep.
Dang! That's so late.
I saw it with Michael and my father in the theater.
You guys did not invite me.
We did not.
Yeah,
that
it was
about?
kind of like, a boys thing.
It was also very
You
spur
didn't
of
wanna
the
invite
moment.
men.
Yeah, it was really spur of the moment.
Yeah,
I was probably free, just so we're clear.
What day did we go, Dave?
I think it was
Yeah,
Thursday
I was
night.
free.
Was it Thursday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Thursday night.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like I had anything going on. Think back.
Hadn't you already seen it, though?
Yeah. I saw it a week before.
Yeah, actually, Colby. I hung out with Colby the day that he went and saw it, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll be back here in a couple hours to watch the movie."
Oh yeah, that's when
And he
we
didn't
bought
invite-
the stuff at the mall.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah,
invite
I
me
bought
to
my
it.
hat.
He didn't.
He was
invite
like,
me to it.
"I'm going with another friend."
Well,
Yeah.
they invited me. They called me and they said, "We have a ticket. Do you want to go?"
Why didn't they call me?
Well, why didn't you ask? Like, oh yeah, but like, can I see if any other friends can come with?
Because they had a ticket and they were inviting
I'll
me
do
to
it.
go see it.
I just, you have this weird thing like I can't meet any of your other friends. Like,
I never said that.
It doesn't need to be said, Colby. It's pretty.
I'm not good
obvious.
enough for Colby's.
You know what, dude? And if you keep
S
acting
tier
like this, you
friendlies.
never will be.
All right, we should talk about the movie. Across the Spider-Verse.
Eye on the list.
I think we've all seen it, so let's
I
talk
saw
about
one.
it.
Spoiler
Late.
warning. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, we'll just spoil it.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just
been
go
long
full
enough.
send.
Landon was
Yeah.
late to the draw.
Yeah. My first spoiler. I didn't know this was like a 2-part movie.
I knew. it.
I didn't even.
I also did not know that going in.
I did know it
I did know it as well.
because I'm educated.
I felt like I
Well-
knew it about like 30 seconds before the movie ended because I was like,
that's about when
I was
knew
like,
too, yeah.
this seems like they're wrapping
Because you were in the
up,
credits
but,
at that point.
No, the credits had not started. 30 minutes before the end of the movie.
Yeah, the credits.
I mean,
are
30 seconds
involved in
before the end of the
Dave.
movie.
So yeah, I was sitting there and like I was watching. I wasn't like I knew it was a longer movie going into it, and I wasn't like I lost track of time, which I think is a good sign when it's like a good movie that like I had no idea. And they like introduced like like Miles's other world, like the other Miles Morales,
Earth 42.
yeah, the Prowler. And I was
Prowler
like,
Morales.
yeah, and I was like, I'm like this is
Prowless Morales.
I'm like, this is really cool, but like, it seems really late to like introduce like such a cool character. Like, and then like so he's probably just gonna be a bit character, and then like cuts back to whatever Spider Gwen or whatever, and I'm like, then she like teamed up with everyone. I'm like, oh no, I'm like this is it.
the end.
I'm like, this is the end of the movie.
Yeah, I did know it was a two-parter, so I was expecting a cliffhanger, and we definitely got one.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't know, to be honest. Like I think I'd heard
me
that they
too.
already like greenlit another movie, but I didn't know it was gonna be like
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they definitely worked on both of them at the same time, and obviously they're still working on part 2.
It was originally called Part 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, and then Part 2.
It is.
No. So they changed
Not
it.
on, like, the
They dropped the
poster.
Part 1, and then now the next one's called Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't it still called part 1?
No.
Officially, no, because otherwise everybody
What did I
would
just
know when they
watch
bought the
then?
ticket, right?
I'm talking about the wrong movie then. I saw something else.
No.
Yeah, part 3 and part 2 is called Beyond the Spider-Verse, and it comes out in March. So
nice.
that's not that big of
no.
a wait.
Yeah, they're only going to make us wait like 9 months.
Yeah.
That'll fly by.
Although
It's like having a baby.
the release date on the Instagram page got removed.
You want to have a baby?
I'm not ready.
No,
What'd you say?
Get delayed? You think?
I think it's going to get delayed.
No,
I think it's going to be either July or September.
no.
People will riot.
Oh right.
I can wait.
Dude, I'll give them as much time as they need.
No.
Yeah, I don't want it to be rushed, but I'm just
They made a promise,
people will be angry.
so I deserve this movie in
Oh,
March.
okay. All right. Then you'll be the first person to tear it apart when like if like the animation is good or something. You're like, oh, like they really
should have spent more time.
Like
The animation in this movie,
it's so
You
good.
smoke.
They do so many cool things.
best animation ever in any movie. Hands down.
At this point, it's like embarrassing watching a Pixar movie.
Yes.
Because it's all like the same kind of bubbly looking animation, and it's so old now.
Yeah.
And yeah, like looking at this movie is just like it's on a whole different level. But yeah, like specifically with different worlds they go to, they all have their own unique kind of feel and art style. And I really loved Gwen's world because they did a lot with like changing of colors and like almost a water paint.
As the character's
Yeah.
emotions change,
The emotions,
like-
yeah. Because she has a lot of good interactions with her dad, and the background and everything is like changing with it, and it was just like such a cool like storytelling device.
Yeah.
I told Will and Landon, was it last night, that when it came to her world, it made me think of Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't
gotta
played
play.
that, Michael, but the art style in her world reminded me a lot of that game. And it was just, it made me appreciate her world more. It made me like think of Disco Elysium too, and be like, man, that was such a good game. But
I need to play it.
yeah, her world just like was so like kind of dreamlike. It was just I thought it worked really well for what her world was like and what she was going through.
I'm showing Michael some of the concept art from Disco Elysium.
Yeah,
Very.
I can definitely see the similarities.
The colors are very. I don't even know the word for it. They pop almost.
Yeah, poppy colors.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We sound so uninformed.
I don't know. Like I would.
I believe the industry refers to them as
about
poppy colors.
poppy colors. But no. I'm surprised they took as much time opening with Gwen Stacy as they did.
I was just about to say, I'm really glad they did that
Yes.
because I think she's almost a main character in the movie. Not really, it's just a supporting character. And she definitely has like a really good arc with everything she's got going on and then with her dad. So I'm glad they had a little more setup for her. Because I think like it was the first like 15 minutes of the movie was just like, this is Gwen. She's doing her stuff and she fights a really cool version of the Vulture.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Leonardo da Vinci like paper world or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vulture was pretty funny. And then we get the introduction of like probably my favorite Spider-Man ever, Spider-Man 2099.
Miguel O'Hara.
What?
Miguel O'Hara.
Miguel O'Guerra. Good
Yeah.
thing that wasn't recorded.
Shoot. But I'll talk about it later. But one thing this movie did incredibly well was the villains. Both villains. There's like two main villains, and both of them are just knocked out of the park, I think. So, but
Yeah.
we'll talk we'll talk about the Spot later. But
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, I like him.
I mean, he goes from like pure comedic like
to
just like
terrifying.
to like
I
terrifying.
figured he was just the opening.
Yeah,
like,
same. I was just like,
yeah.
and then it's like, oh shoot, he's actually like when he changes colors and he starts like morphing everywhere. I'm like,
It gets scary.
yeah, it's
And
pretty cool.
Really shows Miles that actions have consequences. So
And that character has always been kind of a joke in the comics and other like animated shows. Like he's always been just like, oh, you're just a guy that has spots. And I thought that they definitely had that element in this movie, but it really builds upon that and makes him just a terrifying villain for Miles. But yeah, back to Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara.
Stop. That's gonna go down in history.
That's gonna go down on podcast.
I love his like leitmotif, his theme, his music. I've like listening to the soundtrack constantly. It's just so cool. And I think it's actually based off of I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon.
I have not.
Originally, so I think this cartoon came out in 99, around there, 2099. And it was going to be a Spider-Man 2099 cartoon with Miguel O'Hara, and they were planning it and everything. And then another cartoon came out from DC called Batman Beyond, which was a futuristic version of Batman. And they were like, this just looks too similar. And so they switched it to basically their own creation of Spider-Man Unlimited. But the theme music in that is very similar to what we get with Spider-Man 2099 in this movie.
Okay.
Cool Easter egg.
His little theme song is so cool.
And like even his first scene, like when it's a really cool shot when he like, because Vulture is gonna like has Gwen Stacy pinned down, and he kind of goes across and the colors on Gwen Stacy's versus like him when he's going across. Really cool shot. Like one of my favorites.
His entrance is so cool, and he's like, when he has the like special webs and stuff.
His webs are so cool. And like when he's like getting Vulture up into the sky and he takes off his mask and then the fangs come out,
bites him.
He almost bites him.
Are you a villain?
Like a good guy.
You look like a good guy.
Like, so is he a vampire in the comics?
I mean, he's not a vampire. So he's actually like the most unique out of all the Spider-Man variants in the movie, because he was never bitten by a spider. What his deal was, I'm assuming they're keeping this in this movie, but he was like infused with radioactive spider DNA, like a blood transfusion almost. And so he is much more of like a mutant than like the other Spider-Man, because he actually has he can't stick to walls like the other. He has like sharp talons on his fingers. He has a bite that's like
it's got fangs,
venomous spider bite. He doesn't have spider sense either. He has like very like heightened vision, so he almost has like 360-degree view. But he's very like vampire looking for sure.
That explains why he gets hit by some of the things he does.
Yeah, I think it's Vulture that is like right behind him, and he's like, "Why are you looking?" He's talking to Gwen. He's like, "Why are you looking like that?" And bam.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely a more unique version of Spider-Man, but he's so cool. He's so cool.
He's awesome.
Did I take it the wrong? I took it as he was the villain of the movie. That's kind of how.
Yeah, he's one of them. I'd say there's two main villains of the movie.
I don't. Yeah, we'll get to it later, but I kind of disagree. But we'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll get to it. I mean, the other one being like the Spot, but he's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like neither. Yeah, he's more of like a classic. Like he's more of a villain. I think.
Yeah.
O'Hara has more complex motives, I think.
Yeah.
So than just pure evil.
Yeah. I guess I just interpreted from I never trusted him from like as soon as he came into the movie. I didn't trust his character.
Was that because he looked like a vampire?
No, just because like the way I just didn't trust like what he was doing. It seemed like shady. So I was suspicious from the very beginning. I was like, I don't know what this guy's up to.
But he's Spider-Man.
I don't know.
Oscar Isaac killed it though.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was really good. Like this voice cast in general just kills it. I think there's not like
There's not one that's like, that sounds weird.
Yeah. Who was the spot? Is it Jason Schwartzman?
Is the Spot?
Yeah, for the Spot.
For the Spot, he's hilarious.
He was like a perfect casting for that.
Yeah.
Well, because at first, like I don't know if you've seen Jason Schwartzman in a lot of movies, but he kind of plays like that kind of guy that the Spot is at the beginning of the movie, kind of just like this
Robin ATM,
kind of annoying, like non-threatening kind of guy. But he really develops into this like terrifying person by the end of the movie. And so I think he was perfect casting, because at first, like, he's really funny, and like I think it was you, Will, that was saying like he really, as the movie goes on, he gets like less and less funny and more scary. I think he did a great job with that, with his voice in that.
Yeah. There's also what's his name? The guy from Get Out. I always mispronounce his name.
Yeah, I do too. He's also in like Black Panther.
And he's in Nope as well. Daniel, it starts with a K, Kaluuya or something like that.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name.
But, he was Spider-Punk.
Yeah, he was Hobie.
Hobie, yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job. Hobie's great.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I didn't pick his voice out.
Yeah. I didn't know it either. I was like, who did he play?
Because he rarely has his British accent in the movies he's in.
Yeah.
And that's probably not
really
what his normal voice sounds like.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah.
I really liked him in everything I've seen.
Yeah, he was a cool, like, his design was cool because he looked like almost like a punk, like, rock poster.
Yeah, or like a kid's drawing or something in like a notebook or something. Yeah.
So yeah, he definitely had a cool look.
I really liked the is it the Indian Spider-Man?
He was cool too.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was so funny.
He's played by
easy job of Spider-Man.
He's played by
Karen
Sony
Sony?
Dopender from Deadpool, the taxi driver.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dopender, I think is his name. But yeah, he was great. Yeah, like that. None of the characters were like unlikable.
Well, I really liked the humor as well. I feel like every joke landed.
Oh, for sure. And that's super rare for a lot of movies. Because like even
Especially a
like
Marvel movie.
well, especially like superhero movies, like Marvel movies, like
Oh my god.
even movies that are meant like Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
They had a lot of misses.
They had a lot of misses. They had some hits, some really good hits, but it also had a lot of misses. Across the Spider-Verse, every single one was funny. It was just I've never seen a more well, I can't even say this correctly. I've never seen as good of a written sequel as this in regards to taking elements that you took for granted in the first one as well.
Like a bagel.
And like a bagel or the spider, right? Take it for granted. You don't question it, and then
I can't
it's turned
believe
completely on its head.
I can't believe I'd never really thought about it.
Yes,
And it's pretty obvious. It's like, so basically
because it's glitching.
Right. So if you're in the wrong dimension, it messes with your whatever, and you're like you're glitching in the wrong dimension. And in the first movie, there's the spider that bites Miles, and it's glitching.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I never really
thought
like during that movie, like I just didn't really think about it. Like, oh, it's a crazy spider that's good, but they have other characters glitching in it. So, but
You never made the connection.
I never put it together. But then it's like, oh yeah, no, duh, like of course, because we find out that Miles they called him the original anomaly. Because he was not supposed to be the one bitten. It's supposed to be the Miles from Earth 42.
Yes, and the Miles from the Earth. I can't remember what it is.
I don't remember.
Is supposed to be the Prowler.
Probably.
It's greatly hinted at in the first one because of the color change.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if you
Another
saw
thing.
What color change?
So in the first movie, right when he meets his version's Peter, his Spider-Man, they both have their spider sense that goes off. And if you look at Miles, when it goes off, it's purple and green.
Oh.
And then it switches to red and blue. Like it's like his fate changed almost.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, it was
It's a
like
little
when you
detail
watch it,
I
it's like,
didn't-
oh well. But now you go back, it's like, I'm pretty sure they had a lot of this set up. Like that can't just be on accident.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another thing. Also, the movie does the multiverse the best out of any recent multiverse movie I think I've seen.
Yeah,
Let's say out of any like
Flash.
superhero one. I think
Everything
Everywhere All at Once also does multiverse very well.
Oh, I've never seen
Okay.
it. So
Yeah, I saw Flash recently, and it was like embarrassing. It was like they should not have put this out
Wait, the new
right
one?
after. Yeah,
Oh, it came out?
yeah.
yeah, it came out Friday.
Maybe when we're done talking about Spider-Man, you can do a really quick
That movie sucks.
kill. Like,
Yeah, I'm Batman.
You want to get nuts?
Let's get.
Let's get nuts. But yeah, back to Across the Spider-Verse. A lot of cameo stuff that did not feel like it didn't feel fan servicey. Like it felt like it was
Didn't feel forced.
It didn't feel like
Like
"Haha,
serving
look at
the
this,"
story.
You know.
Yeah.
It felt like, oh, I agree with you.
because what Miguel O'Hara is doing is he's basically finding anomalies in other dimensions and then sending them back to their proper dimensions. So we get cameos from we get cameos from other characters, but there's I think they said they made 230 alternate Spider-Mans for the movie. And we
movie
get
was
stuff from
filled with real alternates, right? Like going through.
Yeah, so
Donald
they-
Glover's in it as a prowler,
right, yeah,
Like
live action,
Yeah,
which
that was
really I was not expecting that at all. But yeah, we get the Spider-Man PS4 version. We get stuff from animated shows. We get Andrew Garfield. We get Tobey Maguire. We didn't get Tom Holland though, which was kind of interesting. He was referenced.
Yeah,
Miguel O'Hara
nerd
calls him a
back
little
then.
nerd
yeah.
with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Probably Disney getting their panties in a bunch about probably Disney being very anal about.
That's better. But they don't own the character. That's a Sony movie.
But they
that's
own
Sony property.
I think they have some agreement with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think that's true because Sony outright owns Spider-Man. They own those. Those are their movies. They're not Disney.
I think it's Marvel has to ask permission to use him and stuff, not the other way.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the MCU needs to make the
Yeah,
deal.
okay, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And Sony's very notorious for being very Spider-Man,
I don't blame him, man.
It's
one of their biggest things.
their
they
best
got.
stuff.
That's all they got.
Yeah.
Especially with this movie. But yeah, so we get Donald Glover, who looks like a fully fledged prowler. He's captured and just sitting in timeout for a little bit.
Because he was in the first Tom Holland movie.
He was in
right?
Homecoming, yeah.
Okay.
And there was references to stuff he gets excited when they talk about climbers that he can have. The Vulture is selling, that weapon stuff, and he talks about he has a nephew, which is Miles. So I think they said they're now developing a live action Miles Morales stuff.
Oh, cool.
For MCU or for by itself?
Oh, probably Sony stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
What else? But yeah, they go to Nuevo, New York, which is Miguel O'Hara's dimension, basically, and that's where all of the Spider-Man are congregating, and we get just tons of just.
It was insane.
Cameos, yeah.
The whole sequence was nuts.
The spider car was funny. I laughed at the spider car.
There was a T-Rex too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-X, yeah. I get
Spider Cat.
I guess there's also a little Lego sequence in the movie,
Yes.
Oh, I've heard the story on this.
and I guess the reason they put that in is because they saw I think it was a 12-year-old kid, 14-year-old
Yeah.
kid. He made a stop motion version of, was it the first trailer?
It was the first trailer they released.
Yeah, he made just a trailer Lego version of it, and for the first movie, and they liked it a lot, and they were like, let's hire this kid and put his stuff in the second movie.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
And that was such a funny, awesome part of the
One of our
movie.
best
too.
agents.
You're one of the best.
That's so neat.
Yeah, so that must have been really cool.
Do you know if J.K. Simmons did the voice of J. Jonah Jameson in every single universe?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
He's definitely starting to be the constant because he's the same in all the, at least when we see him or hear him in all the movies.
Yeah.
It's always him. So who else could do it?
I know. It's just
Does he voice him in the?
Nope.
Okay.
in the PS4 version.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
That's
Obviously, really based off of him though,
Yeah.
because it sounds a lot like him.
Oh, we could also talk about I mean, later, Spider-Man 2. I don't know if you saw the gameplay for that.
Oh yeah,
I saw the gameplay in the film.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we've
didn't we?
talked about the Spider-Man.
He was playing
you talked about-
Spider-Man.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Oh yeah,
in the movie.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, never mind if you guys have already talked about it.
I really liked
great.
all the
Did you want to say
alternate-
something, Colby?
I was just gonna say that there's a scene where Miles' roommate is playing. I think it's Spider-Man 2 gameplay.
Yep.
On his PS5. So
Yep.
cool little another like Easter egg, basically.
Yep. What were you saying, Dave?
I was gonna say I really liked all the alternate Spider people that they had in the movie. I think the funniest easily was Ben Reilly. Like,
And he was voiced by
he was Andy Samberg.
Yeah. I was just the quintess.
But he's like so brooding
Scarlet
and like
Spider.
over
He had the blue
the blue
cut off
hoodie.
sleeve
hoodie.
and like just the dark and like emo-y.
But he was like a very well known character. I think it was in the mid '90s of the comic run because he was like a
Huge
clone
character.
of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But he was like this.
He was actually Spider-Man for quite a while.
Yeah, but he was like this brooding character. And so like the way they did him in the movie was really funny because it was kind of like poking fun at what he was like in the comics. So I thought
He's the one that goes with them to the other world, right? To like
yes,
that like
yeah.
Gwen dispatches like super easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he was
really
my
funny.
favorite of the alternates in this movie. He was just really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, what else? I mean, the movie is like, it's just a constant build.
It doesn't let up really.
It takes its time though, but it doesn't. At the same time, like it takes its time, but it doesn't let up because we have to do the Gwen Stacy backstory, and then we reset and do the Miles backstory for the whole entire plot.
Yep.
And then it's only at like more than halfway where Miles finally enters the portal. I feel like because it's like I think it's divided into fourths for me, or like
Yeah,
maybe
it's not a 3-act structure.
no, it's like 4 or 5.
I think it's 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Which it totally works.
Oh, it totally
Yeah.
works. Like the fact that this movie succeeds because they have the conversations where Miles' dad is kind of talking to Spider-Man, his son, and he doesn't know it about his son. Like
Spread his wings.
yeah, it's because they have those. The movie works because they have those conversations.
Yeah,
and that's what makes this movie so great, and why I kind of think it probably could if it was any other studio, if they wanted the most money, they would make the 2 parts and make it 1 and just cut out a bunch of stuff. Does that make sense? Like they could have done that, but they took their time with it, I think.
I mean, they'll make more money in 2 parts, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's fair. But
if it was
like,
Warner Bros, they'd say it needs to be under 2 hours.
yes, like they try to cut it out
Cut it
into
down.
2 hours, like kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they have the creative freedom to take as much time as they need.
I mean, I think they really were like, hey, the first one did amazing. We should just let them keep doing their thing.
Well, what's funny is the box office didn't do that amazing
For the first one.
Yeah, it kind of word of mouth carried it, and so the second one is just like a crazy smash hit.
The weekend box office for the second one was like, I think it was like 50 million more than the first one.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Pretty crazy.
we need more movies like that, like even just like a more unique art style. Like we were like clowning on modern Pixar.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to start getting them.
Puss in Boots was pretty nice. The animation was really good in that.
The more it's getting to the point where more and more movies are getting carried by their word of mouth, and if they're good or not, because regardless if you personally like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it had a very strong word of mouth on average. Like the cinema score, I think the audience score or whatever it is was like an A.
Yeah.
Or it was an A or A minus. So, and it didn't have a great opening weekend at the box office.
No.
But I think it's almost at 900 million worldwide, which is pretty crazy considering how it opened.
Yeah.
So, and that's because of word of mouth. So I think we're going to see more and more movies get carried by the reception of how they actually are for the audience. And it's pretty exciting, honestly, because I think we've been at a point where not a lot of movies, in the past couple of years, not a lot of movies did that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And just, animated. I like animated stuff. And like, I feel like there's Invincible's really good. It's animated, nice, more unique 2D art style. And then there's that Love, Death, and Robots show on Netflix.
Arcane, too.
Arcane, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
But it's just nice seeing something on the big screen that's like super unique.
Yeah.
So I want to see more of that because I like animated stuff a lot.
Right.
I just can't. Nothing wrong really with like the new Pixar. It's just it doesn't seem to have any artistic like flair. Like it doesn't seem to like be unique. It's all just like
It's definitely, it feels like factory made.
Yeah.
Just keep churning them out type of thing.
Which is funny because like when like CG was new, it like was replacing hand-drawn animation, which like people were saying what we are now saying about Pixar animation now.
Yep. Yeah.
Just because it had been used for so long, it didn't seem like it had many
Yeah.
like much evolution in a long stretch of time.
Yeah. We haven't talked about yet basically what Miguel O'Hara's like mission is and how it relates to Miles. Basically what there are, I forget what they're called. They're called canon events.
Canon events. Yeah.
Which are, I think they did like similar stuff to like some other, like Loki, I think had something like that. Multiverse of Madness had similar things.
Oh, wait, I don't want to talk about the movie.
But one of the canon events in all of like what's basically supposed to happen to the Spider-Man character is like a person or people in their lives are supposed to die, and that's just how it's supposed to be. Like for example, like all of them have like an Uncle Ben or whoever that dies, which helps them propel themselves into being, you know, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles finds out that his dad, the captain on the police force, is supposed to die. And it's a really, I'm sure you love this, Will. You love this kind of two sides of this because it's very like philosophical question where it's like, you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
We don't trade lives.
I feel like both sides like are right and wrong because I mean, if you look at okay, the PS4 game, for example, spoiler for that game, but Peter has a choice in the very end to either save his aunt or save like millions of other people in the city. And he knows what's going to happen, and he makes the hard choice and decides to save the majority of people and let his aunt die.
Yeah. The anti-Joel.
A hero. What do you mean is a hero?
So it's an interesting thing because it's like, I know that like the Spider-Man character has made this choice so many times and it feels right. Like it feels like the right thing to do. But then when Miles even questions it, it's like, oh, is it like the right thing? Like, is there something that can be done here? Like, it's just an interesting thing to think about because I don't think that this is why I don't think Miguel O'Hara is necessarily the villain. I think he's definitely an antagonist role for Miles, but I don't think he's necessarily like a villain, if that makes sense. Because I think what he's
trying to accomplish is he's trying to keep the worlds
right. Because
like,
basically,
apart.
if you break this canon event or mess with it, it has the high possibility of like destroying everything in that dimension.
Yeah, like unravels itself.
Right. Which he has his own story of what happened.
He tried to steal a family.
And so he's speaking from his experiences.
I got the feeling, and I'm probably wrong because I don't know much of the backstory of actual like comics and stuff, but like I just got the feeling that like he was withholding information.
This is going to
agree with
this
you.
isn't. I don't think this stuff has been in the comics.
Like I felt like he had like nefarious like I feel like he's like tricking all the other
a
Spider-Man.
lot of people.
Spider-Man 99?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget the character, but there's another character in the 2099 era of Spider-Man comics. There's another character that people think this Miguel O'Hara actually is.
That's
so
the
they
villain,
feel like
or-
it's actually not Miguel O'Hara. But I don't know. I think it is actually him.
Is that just like people that are like, no, we can't have Spider-Man be the bad guy. It has to be someone else.
I actually want to agree with something Landon said. There's quite a few things that don't really add up with what I don't think O'Hara is saying. So there's like, I think there's two things. One is that Miles already broke a canon event and he's still there.
Yeah.
He's the original anomaly. And so if he were totally trusting O'Hara, then everybody should be vaporized by now because
At least from his world.
at least from his world, or at least from Miles' world. And he should be already taking measures to do that, but he's kind of letting Miles be in a bubble. It could be just that he wanted to let Miles vaporize, basically. That could be a possibility, but it's also the fact that I don't know how quickly his family kind of started vaporizing. There's also the second one is that I think O'Hara lied to Miles about the reason why the other dimension is falling apart. The Indian dimension.
Yeah.
Because you can see the Spot's art style like start to tear it apart. But O'Hara says, "Oh, it's tearing apart because
He interfered.
It's because he interfered. It's because the canon event was disrupted." But if you you watched it twice, right? Or like the Spot is it's basically the Spot's art style because it's after he turns into the Spot 2 or whatever.
I think it just looks similar because that's literally what it is. It's like a dimensional
portal. But it's like the same squigglies and the same art style. So I don't know if he's totally telling the truth because Miles is like, "That's the Spot, right?" And he's like, "No, it's because canon events disrupted."
I mean, it definitely feels like he's not being completely honest with them.
Mm-hmm. It's a possibility.
I don't know specifically about that instance, but I could definitely see it him like revealing something else.
I just feel like he's still angling to try to get his family back as his main like goal, like some like weird way to get like something for himself. Like I don't know if he'll like. I feel like he's like he might like become good at the end of the next movie, but I just have this like feeling that he's not.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I also think it's also totally possible that he's just a dejected, depressed he's been doing brutally what he's been doing for so long, and that just changes you, and you lose all sense of
emotion. He's a little lost, right?
He has a quote in the movie too. I don't remember exactly what it is.
With great power.
No,
I don't always like what I do.
Yeah. He's like like we're all Spider-Man, but like I'm not like the others.
I'm not like the others.
I don't always like what I do or something like that.
But I do it because I think he says something along the lines of that. But
yeah, and you can go ahead and quote that.
I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
He kind of, you're not supposed to. And I think they've set themselves up really well where they can do more twists in the third part with his character if they really want to, or they can take it in a different direction. But I think there's a good possibility he's not telling the truth, but there also is a good possibility that he's telling the truth about. I just don't know. It makes it impossible for me to guess what's going to happen because
I'm completely like I really don't know what's going to happen because like you want to think like, okay, he's going to do the right thing. I don't know what the right thing is really in this whole scenario, but it's like he is still Spider-Man, so like I still believe like he has good intentions. I just think the way he's going about them might not be the best, but
I guess it's weird and confusing because if Miles isn't a canon event, Miles is literally not a canon event. His dad shouldn't be dying. His dad dying is not a canon event.
Yeah, because he's not supposed to be.
Because he's not supposed to be Spider-Man, and he's not technically close to Peter Parker.
But what if his dad doesn't die? He could just become Captain,
right?
You know what I mean? And then that would happen, and then
the Spot is the one that showed him the future, which is his dad dying.
Yeah.
So
good point.
I don't know. It's either a plot hole, a contradiction, or it's going to be a twist in the third movie. And if I'm going to put
a spot hole,
if we're going to put money on it, I would say twist in the third movie, honestly, because these writers are smarter than
us.
Than us. Yeah. So,
what was the quote again? I don't like what I do. End quote.
But I do it anyway. Unlike all you other spiders. I think that was it.
Dave, you haven't said too much about the movie. What are some of your thoughts?
I really liked the movie. I thought it was really
okay.
good.
Thanks.
I really liked the first one. Also, I only saw the first one once though. So I would like after seeing this one, I want to go back and rewatch the first movie again. Yeah, because I did remember really enjoying it, but I don't remember a lot of it.
The first one's so good.
I watched the first one the day before I saw the second one, and it was a great experience.
That probably helped a lot.
It was an amazing experience. I would have highly recommended it.
Yeah. I didn't know I was going to the movie until like hours before.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep. Whatever you say, man.
We didn't know we were going until like minutes before.
Yeah, that's enough time to yeet out an invite to me.
That was basically the day I went and saw it. I decided I'm gonna go for a hike, and then I'm gonna go to Spider-Man afterwards, and then I was like running back at the end of the hike, like my car barely make it to the movie theater.
Did you go on a hike by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, no one went with you?
Nope.
Well, I was working, so I couldn't go.
I was also working.
Not
you
an
weren't.
excuse.
Also, it's a hike, so I didn't want to go on it.
They're really fun. It was nice. I like.
Well, the weather. Okay, well, let's be clear. The weather wasn't great. It
Actually, the weather was awesome Monday.
was cold.
It was actually.
I did
cold.
go see the movie with Landon though,
Yeah.
because I was no longer working.
Yeah. Weird.
Huh.
I like hikes.
I love hikes.
You're creating the narrative.
You just not like
You.
being outside.
I like outside.
Prove it.
We did play pickleball for.
We did play pickleball
Yeah, outside.
outside. It was a lot of fun. I want to play again.
I'm not
It's fun.
good
I'm not good either. I think I could get good though. I believe
as a
could
natural
get
born
good.
athlete.
Get good.
I could get good.
Get good.
Yeah, just keep playing
scrub.
with us.
As soon as I got my hip fixed, then I'll probably tear it up. So
Yeah. But yeah, I think really the only like little nitpick I had about the movie was just I wish that there was more of Peter B. Parker.
yep.
Yeah.
Because he was really barely in the movie, especially compared to the first movie. And he was probably my favorite part of the first movie.
Yeah.
And he was still really great in the second movie, but he was not in it very much. But I'm assuming we're going to get a lot more of him in the third one.
He has a great scene with Miles though about him talking about how Miles made him want to become a dad, and that's a A+ scene for sure. But I totally agree with you. Peter B. Parker's awesome,
and it's like it's such a interesting thing for it to be the plot of the movie, because like I think he agrees with what Miguel is doing. Obviously, he had some issues with, like, you're being too hard on him. We didn't, when we talked about this, you weren't going to do it this way. Like, but he's still like, I think he was like, terrible things happen to us, but there are also good things. Like, you happened, she happened, like there's still like great things that come out of tragedies. So it just, I really don't know which way is the right way.
Yeah, you can't, as much as you like want to avoid tragedy, it's like it kind of, there are parts of it that make us stronger and kind of better for it, and that's kind of also a heated philosophical statement.
Yeah.
But that's something that I would probably agree with. I know not a lot of people. There are some people that don't. I know personally, but
I think the only thing that would make me lean a little more towards Miles' way of thinking is, and I think he even says it in the movie, where he's like, you guys just trust this like algorithm that you guys came up with. Like, maybe it's not like actually a thing.
Yeah. And that's why there's a lot of mystery, I think, revolving around around these canon events. And I'm just really excited for the third one, honestly.
And like I really have no idea where the story is going.
I can't help but think there's going to be, like, even with Universe 42 or whatever it's called, Earth 42. I'm guessing, if I had to make a bold prediction, that universe is going to get a Spider-Man by the end of the third movie. I just don't know.
Uncle Aaron?
Because you're either missing a Spider-Man in Miles' original universe, or you're missing a Spider-Man in Earth 42.
Maybe they just blow up Earth 42.
Because Peter wasn't supposed to die. So
Earth 42 is going to get disintegrated.
I mean, but now there's two canon events that are just like two universes that are out of sync. It might might get disintegrated.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to fix it, is to get rid of that universe.
Well,
talk about moral dilemmas, huh?
Not only getting rid
Maybe
of it,
everybody there
Is
has to die
42 the one
for
that Miles is
hold
from?
on. No.
Whoa.
It won't like, you won't get rid of it. That's not what happens. It's just it naturally disintegrates.
And
according to
Landon's going
O'Hara.
to accuse Miguel of being the bad guy.
Yeah.
Landon's over here like trying to Thanos a universe.
Landon said, "I'm literally not O'Hara."
I'm literally not.
Yeah, but
What would you guys rank it then on a scale of 10?
Oh, I'd give
it
like
2 thumbs up.
9.9. I really liked the movie. It was really, really good.
It's honestly hard to gauge by itself because it's a two-parter.
You can still judge.
But it felt like a complete movie. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's a cliffhanger, but
It's so much setup, though. It's so much setup. Like, literally every scene in the movie, almost every scene in the movie is setup.
you could re-rate it after the next movie comes out too.
Okay, I'll re-rate it after the next movie comes out. I think
this rate
just for
is
the setup,
forever.
just for the setup, I'd probably give it. I'm just screw it. I'll give it a 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's really not many flaws in the movie.
So that's
And
a
even like the
9.9.
one complaint, the Peter B. Parker,
That's
it's
a
like
9.9, a 10.
they still nailed the two scenes that he really
thumbs
had
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
May. It was Mary Jane and his kiddo. So
I'm probably gonna give it An 8.5.
You
8.5. 8.5 to 9. 8.5 to 9.
Why?
I gotta be more. I gotta be better with my rankings. I can't
garbage.
because it's not. It's not the best movie I've seen this year.
No. Okay. So
That's
you
Bo's
don't.
Afraid.
You don't
rated it.
say.
It did
Rate
not
it
derail
against itself.
It did not derail Bo's Afraid.
No, shut up.
Rate it
Okay.
against itself. Don't rate it against other movies.
It's just like, oh, I'm saving myself for better ratings later. It's like, come on, man. Like,
You can have multiple
No, I'm just saying
That's
like
10 movies.
Like if I was saving my 2 thumbs up for the year, I'd save it for Barbie. But they can both be.
they can
Great
both be
movie.
two
it's
thumbs
somewhere.
up.
It's somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9 for me.
You're trying to
It's a great movie.
objectify
No,
the 0 out of 10 scale, and it doesn't work.
It's
like
not.
that.
It's not a perfect film though. It's not like
Dude.
It's not one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Did you not listen to the podcast?
How long were you on your phone during the movie?
I was not on it at all.
I went
Were you
with him.
watching the
I
movie?
went with him.
Were
He
you
would
paying
just-
attention?
No, he didn't have Subway Surfers up, so his attention span was like just like
An 8.5 to 9 is not a bad.
It's not
ranking.
good enough.
I guess like, I'm just confused because it's like,
You know what? I'm switching mine to a 10.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, that's a
We
real
gotta-
mature
we gotta
response.
balance. We
Thank
gotta
you.
balance out.
Dude, I was probably gonna say 9.
Yeah.
What?
No, not okay.
I thought you guys like went like.
I
you-
love the movie.
No. I thought you guys like completely changed the way you were gonna rate stuff. Like, weren't you just gonna be like
Recommend
either
or don't
recommend or don't recommend?
Well, then I would
No,
definitely
no.
recommend
In
it.
my list of
So it's a
things,
10 out
but
of
you
10.
asked rank one. You asked
didn't
on a
ask
scale
that.
of 1 to
Landon did.
10.
I did.
Didn't you?
Landon's going against his own morals.
I'm sorry.
own values.
It's a yay. It's
does
it's,
that a
I mean,
lot.
yeah.
it's probably a 9, 8.5 to 9, somewhere in that range. Depending on the day.
Yeah, and on my David scale, it's like it's 2 thumbs
I don't
up.
want to see your David scale.
I'm listening.
Colby, you're on your phone.
Called
Colby's
out.
like, if I just have my knee in the camera, it'll look like Dave will think I'm paying attention.
Maybe I'll flex for you.
When are you gonna start flexing, Colby?
Stop it.
so, Colby, what would you rate it?
2 thumbs up.
Okay,
Out of 10?
out of 10.
Out of 2 thumbs up,
2 out of 2.
which is the equivalent of
A 10. Because
yeah.
What would you,
I just think
would you need to see the first one again to give it a rating?
I think I liked the first one better, if I remember correctly.
the first one's simpler. It's
The
like
first
way
one
simpler.
is a tighter
Oh
story.
yeah, Landon probably didn't get this one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, the first one is like a tighter, shorter movie for sure.
Yeah.
But
All right. I didn't give it a bad score. I gave it a great score.
if it doesn't get a 10, it's bad.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna agree with Michael here.
Thank you, Will. You're always there for me.
Always.
I just feel like I have to reserve my 10s.
Yeah.
No,
that's
Mick and Will out here are like the IGN of
I also don't
Reserve
think
my-
No,
I can
no.
give a 10 to something that I first saw within the last like week or 2 weeks. I think I need more time to
Yeah.
really let a
does
movie
that mean?
like
Like I said, your
percolate.
ranking of it.
Yeah, what
your
does-
rating
I
of it
feel-
can
I
change.
feel like-
Explain yourself.
I feel like
Ow.
I need more time to like absorb the movie. And if
dumb?
I give something like a really high
can't
score or a really
think.
low score, I feel like it's too reactionary, and I need more time to separate from
How
the-
much time do you need?
can be a
sometimes a
long
long
time.
time. Yeah.
When I first saw No Country for Old Men, I didn't really like it that much, and now like on repeated viewings, it's like probably my favorite movie or like one of them.
Yeah, Dave said, "Oh, I like No Country for Old Men." And Landon's like, "Oh, really?"
Okay.
I do too.
All right.
Oh, the jokes aren't funny when they're on you, huh?
It's not an accurate joke. It's a bad joke.
That's why it's a joke. It's because it's not accurate.
No, it's a bad joke.
Yeah, that's the difference between a joke and a mean comment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, we all enjoyed the movie, so
Well, I guess I didn't enjoy it enough for you guys.
no,
so.
no, you didn't. But you enjoyed it just enough. Anything else about the movie?
No.
No.
You know what? It's a 7.
You're dead.
I'm just waiting for Mick to go to 11.
Don't tempt me.
7-Eleven?
Slurpee time.
Oh.
All right. Well,
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Better wrap up.
it's supposed to be a short episode, but this was a regular
so
length
tired.
episode.
Oh, all right. Well, Dave doesn't want to talk anymore, so I guess we're gonna wrap
It
up.
is 10:43.
Well, to be fair, we waited for like 3 hours for Landon to cook burgers.
No, I cooked the burgers very quickly.
Landon cooked
They were
them 1 degree at a time.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I feel like I cooked them in a timely manner. Like I think we were back at my place and we were eating within 30 minutes probably
Were-
from start to finish.
Was there a lot of pink in the burger? I didn't check.
You didn't look at the burger after you take one bite. You
No,
wolfed the entire thing.
Will blindfolded himself and was just eating whatever was.
There was not much pink. There was very little to none.
I didn't have any pink in mine.
Okay, cool.
I think I was pink.
Also, why you ask? Like I still can't believe that you didn't look. Like you didn't take a bite out of the burger and like look at.
That's normally like the
trust you.
first thing I do.
Yeah.
After I take a bite of a burger,
I just
I'm
look
like,
at-
oh, what's in here? What did my bite look
really,
like?
really like any cut of meat.
What's
Yeah.
in here?
Like a steak, a burger,
Chicken?
chicken.
You just eat your food blindly.
No. I not
Do you do it
not
with cake?
usually. This time I forgot.
Okay.
I knew I was.
Sometimes I forget things.
Will has to make like a
Like
conscious
looking at the
effort
food
to
you're
like
eating?
look at his food.
Yeah.
It's like I forgot to look at my food.
I don't
today.
know. I okay.
Hey Siri, remind
You know
me to
what?
look at my food.
I'm
When
just
I
gonna
eat it.
explain myself. I'm not gonna explain myself.
Well, it sounds like you can't.
You know,
No,
I'm gonna give
I'm not
Will's
going
burger
to.
eating
I can, but I'm not going to.
6
I'm
out
not
of
going
10.
to. I don't.
Hey
have
Will,
to.
what would you
I
rate?
don't have to.
Every time you say
I
it,
have
you
to.
believe
8.59. It was a great burger. Loved it.
You're saving your 10 for another burger.
I wouldn't give
Yeah.
the burgers we had tonight a 10.
I would
It'd be outrageous.
They were delicious. They were the best burger I've ever had.
You know, I just need to let the burger marinate. You know, I just need.
I need to think about it for about
Yeah,
three
Actually, you should
months
probably
to a
like the
year.
burger cook.
I would probably say the burgers are a 6.5 to 7.
Oh, that's way too low.
What? Are you kidding
Those
me?
are good burgers.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we were
but,
also
like,
You need
starving.
to adjust for inflation, bro. Like, get the numbers up.
No, but the max doesn't go up, so there
Yeah,
is
so it's
no
like, okay, if the
inflation.
Gordon Ramsay burger we had in Vegas was a 10, then the burgers we had tonight can't be like a 9.
They can be a 9.
No, they-
Because
no,
the
they
subjective
can't. No,
experience.
no, okay,
right?
see,
It's
that's-
the subjective experience.
No, I'm against Will now.
Okay. Okay, so here's the thing.
The burger flaw.
Colby's
I
like,
am
Landon's
starving,
right.
right?
The burger sucked. And Landon's like, I didn't say that.
I've been saying that since the start of the episode.
If I'm starving, okay, and I have
If Will's starving, so like
McDonald's
every
burger,
hour
it
of
could be
every
a
day.
10 burger.
every 4
It
hours.
could be a 10 out of 10.
I can't
burger.
imagine Will
There's less-
starving.
There's stop.
What would that look like?
Stop.
We'll never know.
There's less objectivity to 10 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 rankings than you think.
Dude,
is what
hey,
I'm trying to say.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not listening.
Okay, you know what? I'll shut up. I don't have to explain myself.
You were trying to and it wasn't going well. Like,
I just feel like.
What do you
there's-
mean it wasn't going well?
I feel like if you gave those.
How would you rate
burgers
it,
that
Landon?
Landon
How
cobbled
well
together-
would you rate that it was going?
how Will was explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 a 10.
This might be
Landon
the one,
liked it.
this might be the one we all agree on.
Wait, do you understand what I'm saying, Michael?
I get you.
Thank you,
I'm here
Michael.
for you.
You always got my back.
What did
I'm
he say,
your rock.
Mick? What did he say?
So what did you rank the burgers tonight out of 10?
Oh, 6 or 7.
Okay, so that's thank you. Thank you. That's the word. You changed.
All right. On that note, I think we're going to wrap up. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back next week to talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
And good night.
I think that was a 10 out of 10 episode.
Oh, I don't know.
I have to
Colby
let it marinate a little
Colby
bit.
Episode marinate.
I'll get back to you in 6 months and let you know.
If Dave tells me it's good, maybe I'll think it is.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Hotkeys podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, and other podcasting platforms. Visit our website, www.hotkeyspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Hotkeys Podcast and join our Facebook group at facebook.com/HKHotkeys. Please like and review us and subscribe to the show on whichever platforms you use. Finally, you can contact us via email at hosts@hotkeyspodcast.com.